I get it. You want to build more wealth, but you also want it to be safe. You want to enjoy a freer life, but you want to maintain privacy so that not everyone knows what you're doing. And that's why, whether you're a location-independent entrepreneur or investor, or just really anyone who wants more freedom and liberty, there are certain tools that you shouldn't live without. So today, you're going to learn about 10 tools that every location-independent professional, expat, or freedom seeker needs to start using today if you want to create real personal, financial, and location independence. You'll also discover the specific choices that I've made so you know the exact services you should get started with today. That's all coming right up on Renegade News. Welcome back to Renegade News. I'm your host, Glenn Kowalski. It's our mission to help freedom seekers like you break free from the system, pay less tax, and live anywhere in the world that you want. So smash that subscribe and the notification button and let's get right into it. Building a free and a location-independent life means staying connected to the world around you, whether that be for business or for your personal needs. I mean, most of us aren't looking for these nomadic lives out in the jungle, unconnected to everything. But unless you want Big Brother listening to every conversation, knowing every step that you take, and tracking every dollar you spend, you're responsible to take the necessary steps that you need to keep your personal and your business life private. And that's why the most important tool that you need to use every day is a virtual private network, known more commonly as a VPN. A VPN gives you online privacy and makes you anonymous by creating a private network out of a public internet connection. This blocks your IP address so that no one can trace what you're doing online. And that means that no one can know your browsing habits or even where you're browsing from. They also can't read things in transit like your passwords and your emails that you're transmitting across the web. My personal choice in VPN is ExpressVPN. It's easy to set up on your computer, on your phone, and all the rest of your devices. It's really easy to use and it costs less than $13 a month. Now, while you're online, of course, the most important thing that you want to keep secure is your communications. The communications between your clients, your business partners, your friends, your family, everyone. And privacy should be a right. But the fact is most email services aren't that private. Most of us know someone whose email has been compromised, or you've likely heard of one of the multiple data breaches in the big online cloud services. But did you also know that Gmail, Hotmail, and the other big mail services are monitoring your data to mine for their advertising platforms? And that both the US and Canadian governments are known to spy on citizen email accounts? Private mail servers, like my favorite service, Proton Mail, solves this issue by providing two different types of encryption. The first is used if someone sends you an email from a non-Proton email address, something like Gmail. In that case, the mail is encrypted once it arrives at Proton Mail, so that no one other than the intended recipient can read that mail. So that includes all of the Proton Mail staff. It's completely encrypted. Unfortunately, these emails, because they're being sent from somewhere unsecure, in transit, they can be intercepted before they actually get to Proton Mail. So they have the other type of encryption, which is when Proton Mail users send mail to other Proton Mail users. In that case, the mail is end-to-end encrypted, meaning it can't be decrypted while it's in transit either. You can get started on Proton Mail completely free, and I 100% recommend it for any email that you don't want prying eyes to read. And that should really be any email. Another type of communication that you're going to want to use when you're location independent is instant messaging. But unfortunately, most instant messaging services are far from secure. Even WhatsApp, that promises end-to-end encryption, has changed their terms of service to let you know that your information is going to be sent to Facebook to use on their advertising platform. Fortunately, there's Signal. Edward Snowden says he uses Signal every day, so you know they're secure. It supports text, voice, audio, and video calling, and provides end-to-end encryption and doesn't store or share any of your personal information. Now, speaking of privacy, why let Google track all of your searches so that they can report them back to FBI and God knows who? Everyone knows that they have this cozy relationship with the FBI, and they happily share all of your private data all of the time. When you do a search on Google, Yahoo, or Bing, they share a ton of information about you with the site that you're visiting as well. That includes your IP address, the terms you were searching for, and who referred you, which is really the same as saying they're going to tell the site you're visiting who you were visiting before you went to their site. They also put small text files called cookies on your system, and then they read those files when you visit other sites so that they can give you ads based on the information you were searching for. That's why I love DuckDuckGo, who calls themselves the leading provider of privacy protection tools to help you seamlessly take back control of your personal information online. They've been providing a private alternative to Google for over a decade now. By using DuckDuckGo as a search engine instead of the privacy invader Google, your searches remain private. They don't collect any data from you, and they block your IP address. And they don't fill up your system with cookies that can follow you around the internet showing you ads based on your search history. Another way that you can get rid of annoying ads is through the use of an ad blocker. Ad blockers are plugins that are added to your browser that detect the ad code on the websites, and then they either block it or alter the ad. They also stop the code that tracks you by blocking tracking cookies and sending other information back to the advertisers. Actually, it's not even the advertisers that get that information. It's the Google ad network, like Google, that's mining all of that data. If you're going to use an ad blocker, the one that I choose is uBlock Origin. It's relatively non-invasive, and it does a good job for you. Ad blockers are a double-edged sword, though. First, because blockers can also disable functionality on websites that you might want to use. And next, and more importantly, because content creators use ads to create revenue for the companies, they're not going to continue to create content if they're not making any revenue. So by using ad blockers, you're inadvertently helping your favorite content creators go out of business, and you're decreasing the quality of good information that's available online. But there is an alternative to ad blockers to get rid of annoying ads you don't want to see and eliminating the tracking, while you can still support the creators that you love. And that's the Brave browser. In the traditional online advertising model, there's really three parties. There's the advertiser, there's the publisher, and then there's the user, you. There's also this middleman, someone like Google, the ad network. And when an ad is shown, that middleman gets paid. And incidentally, that middleman always makes the most of anyone. Now, when the ad is clicked, the publisher then takes a piece. And finally, if you hopefully buy something, finally that advertiser will have a chance to make some revenue. But do you know who doesn't get paid in those transactions? You. And you get tracked every step of the way. Brave turns this model around on its head with its blockchain-based browser that stops the annoying ads and the trackers. But you might be wondering, well, how does it do that then without killing the creators? Well, simple. It allows the advertisers to pay you to watch their ads instead. And that way you're earning money in the form of a cryptocurrency called BAT just by giving attention to the advertisers that you're really interested in seeing anyway. I'm going to talk more about Brave and earning BAT in another video. But speaking of cryptocurrency, normally when you first buy it, it gets held in what's called a custodial wallet. Custodial wallets are like a bank account. The exchange holds your funds, and then it allows you to deposit and withdraw just like you do with a traditional bank. But just like with a traditional bank, those funds, that crypto, really isn't yours. Someone else has control of them. So if you want to stay private and secure, you're going to want to get what's known as a non-custodial wallet for your crypto. Although most people just call it a wallet. A wallet is a tool that allows you to store your cryptocurrency private keys. I'm not going to get into all the details of what that actually means, but essentially it's what allows you to become your own bank and actually own your own funds. Wallets can be online, they can be on your desktop computer, they can be on your phone or your other mobile device, and they can also be kept on dedicated devices called hard wallets or even kept on paper. My recommendation by far for both security and convenience is a hard wallet known as a Trezor wallet. I love my Trezor. It allows you to easily watch your balances and receive cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and thousands of other coins. And best of all, it's completely secure and easy to use. But now that you're buying cryptocurrency and you're storing some on exchanges, some in your custodial wallets, and some in non-custodial wallets, you need a way to track your portfolio and see what your net worth is in real time. And for this, I recommend Kubera. Kubera allows you to track all of your savings, bank accounts, crypto, investments, and much more in a single interface that's as easy to use as Excel or Google Sheets, but it's even better. Now, while you do need to give read-only access to Kubera in order for them to connect to your bank accounts and your portfolio, they don't store any of those banking credentials, so it's safe. And in addition, the data that they do store is strongly encrypted on their servers, so even the employees can't see your data other than a few key employees on a need-to-know basis with strict data access auditing. So it's completely private. Kubera even offers an optional service to allow access to someone of your choosing if you happen to pass away. But I recommend somebody totally different for that. And that brings me to the most important tool, in my opinion, in this entire video. As an ambitious entrepreneur investor who cares about privacy but also wants their family protected, you need to consider what happens if unexpectedly you're killed or you're incapacitated. Does your family know where you keep all of your crypto assets? Do they know the location of your wallets? Do they know your private keys, where you keep your gold, or even where you keep your bank accounts? Do you have a will? Do they know where it is? Do you have trusts? Other legal requirements? Legacy Armor is the perfect tool for you to plan your legacy, either on your own or with a trusted advisor. Every, and I mean every, location-independent entrepreneur or investor, or anyone with any significant assets really needs this service. I'm going to do a separate video about Legacy Armor. It's that important. But they're going to ensure that your family has access to all of your insurance, legal, and financial information if and when they need it. They'll let you store your wills, your legal documents, your bank accounts, and anything else that you want in secure digital vaults. And they'll email the party of your choice if something ever happens to you. They'll even check in with you periodically to make sure that you're still alive and that everything's well. And they're going to make sure that the right people know about your financial and legal wishes if you can't be found. The link is in the description below, and I encourage you to check it out right now. But the final tool that you need in your arsenal ties all of the previous tools together, and that's a password manager. There is nothing worse for your security than using the same password across all of the tools above, plus everything else you do on a day-to-day basis. And the next biggest mistake that you can make is using passwords that are easy to remember, because that also makes them easy to guess. A password manager securely tracks all of your passwords across all of your sites and other needs so that you don't have to. PassPack, the tool that I recommend and use, only requires you to remember two things. The first is a password, and actually you can forget that because there's always the forget password link that'll email you the reset credentials like most sites, but you also get a secure passphrase that you create yourself. This passphrase is only known to you, no other person in the world, and it's required to decrypt all of your passwords. So it's a phrase that you need to remember and keep safe. In all honesty, it's probably a good candidate to keep in your Legacy Armor vault, because otherwise, if you pass away, all of those passwords go with you. No one can get at them without that passphrase. Passphrase also allows you to give access to certain passwords to certain users so that they can log into your shared accounts, but you're not exposing those passwords to the outside world. These 10 tools will help you live the life you want while keeping you and your family safe and private. And they are the most important tools you need to start using today if you want personal, financial, and location independence. You can find links to all the tools that I mentioned in the description below. And some of those are referral links, so if you choose to use any of them, it really would help me out as well. I'll have specific videos on many of these tools available, so check out the playlist that you see on your screen right now. And don't forget to subscribe to Renegade News so that every week you discover the latest infringements and wins in your pursuit of more freedom and more liberty in this unfree world.